Hello, my name is Denine. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Bulk Budget Bites. This is episode 2 of the series. Last week we made vegan split pea soup, which is really good. Leftovers did not last for very long. And this week we are going to be making vegan green chili chicken tamales. We're actually going to be using texturized vegetable protein or TVP for the chicken, but you can feel free to use beans, mock meat, or jackfruit if that's what you prefer to do. So this recipe is super simple. It's really good. It's one that I really enjoyed. Boyfriend approved. This time I have evidence. I got some voiceover of him talking about how great they were. We only have 2 left. They were gone pretty fast. Really fun recipe to make. It's something that's really great, really hands-on. If you're not stressed out about letting your kids make messes in the kitchen, I recommend you try making this with them. I think they'd really enjoy it. It's one of those things that just really motivates you to do more, I would say, when you realize how simple this dish is. I would say it's a really simple dish that's really easy to make, but it's a really fun food and it's not something that you make every day. So I would say this is something that you can do for like parties, like maybe your football party. Maybe, I know we're all quarantined right now, so you're probably not thinking about partying. It's probably the last thing on your mind, but this might also be a nice comfort food for those of you who are bored. You're sitting inside. Some of you are quarantined for 30 days. This would be a great recipe for you to make if you're someone who just really needs something to do, if you're just going stir crazy. Cabin fever is real. I've been experiencing that. It's definitely real. Sometimes I go out to the store to get milk just so that I can leave the house. It's real. Anyway, the ingredients you'll need for the masa dough are 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 4 tablespoons of canola oil, 1 3/4 cup of water. You're going to want your water to be warm, which is why I've kept mine in the kettle. You're going to need 2/3 to 3/4 cup of vegan not chicken or vegetable broth, and lastly, 2 cups of masa. For the filling, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a pinch of salt. I've already combined mine in this container, 1 cup of mild green chili salsa, or 1 7-ounce can of diced green chilies, plus extra for topping. You're also going to need 1 cup of TVP, 1 small package of corn husks. This recipe only makes about 12 to 16 tamales, but you'll want to set aside a few more because not all of them will be usable. Plus 1 extra tablespoon of masa and 1 tablespoon of oil for cooking. Optional toppings include jalapenos, vegan cheese, and hot sauce. Go crazy with it. The tools you'll need for this recipe are both a medium and large mixing bowl, a large non-stick pot or high rim pan, cereal bowl for the TVP, and a plate to weigh down the soaking corn husks. In a large mixing bowl, place your corn husks and cover them with warm water. Remember, you'll want to put aside the amount that you'll need plus extra in case some of them aren't usable. So you're going to want to go ahead and take all of those and put them in the water, weigh them down with a plate, and let them soak until they are hydrated. We're going to go ahead and set these aside. We'll get back to them later. If you haven't already, place your 2 cups of masa into your medium-sized bowl, pour in your 1 3/4 cups of warm water, and stir and set aside for 15 to 20 minutes. This mixture will look a little dry at first, but don't be tempted to add more water. It's fine as it is. Place your TVP into your small cereal bowl and cover it with warm water, then set it aside. Place your pot on the stove, set it to medium heat, and once warm, you're going to want to add in your tablespoon of cooking oil. Then you're going to add your TVP or whatever protein you're using and cook until done. Add your 1 cup of salsa or your can of diced chilies, your teaspoons of onion and garlic powder, and your pinch of salt, and the 1 tablespoon of masa that you set aside. You're going to want to go ahead and stir and cook for 45 seconds to a minute. Next, add your broth, 1/2 cup if you're using beans, and 3/4 cup for TVP or jackfruit. Cook until the liquid has evaporated. Remove your filling from the heat and let it cool. Grab your medium bowl of masa dough and add to it your 2 teaspoons of baking powder, your 4 tablespoons of oil, and stir to combine. Then pour in your broth in small increments, stirring after each addition. You'll want this mixture to have the consistency of a paste. If you need to add a touch more water to reach this consistency, then do so, but don't overdo it. At this point, if you use the same pot to cook the TVP as you're planning to steam the tamales in, then you'll want to transfer the filling into the bowl, wash the pot, then bring it back along with your steamer basket. Grab your large bowl of corn husks, drain off the water, and pat them down, just so they're no longer sopping wet. Now you're going to grab a corn husk, making sure that it isn't torn. You're going to scoop up a bit of masa dough, then spread it across the upper right-hand side of the husk, leaving at least 1.5 inches free on the left side. You're going to add about a tablespoon of filling, fold the husk so that the dough on the husk is folded in half, seal it by putting a bit of pressure along the edges, then wrap them up and fold the bottom corner up to the top and set them in your pot standing as straight as possible. Repeat until you run out of dough. There will be filling left over, but we want that. That will be one of our toppings. Optional. If you have some, go ahead and throw in some vegan cheese. This will really add to the flavor and texture of your tamales. Now this whole process would be much easier if I had a flat surface like a cutting board to assemble these tamales, but unfortunately I just didn't have the space to do that. It's also easier to spread the masa on the husks with a spatula or the back of the spoon than a fork. I learned that as I was working on them. You'll see that my steamer basket is uneven. It has a leg missing, so I wasn't able to stand them up as straight as possible, and because of this, my tamales ended up spilling a bit of the filling into the steamer basket. So if you can stand them up straight as possible, I would recommend doing so. Once all the tamales are assembled, place your pot back on the stove over medium heat and add just enough water to steam the tamales without touching them. Once the water begins to boil, turn your heat down to low and steam the tamales covered for 1 hour. Check back about every 20 minutes to make sure that all of your water hasn't evaporated. After the hour is up, remove the tamales from the heat and allow the steam to dissipate from the pan. Unwrap them and go crazy with the toppings, then serve. And you are done. These tamales are so good. I'm telling you, when I say they're good, they are so good. The toppings really add to them, but honestly, they're good without them. I did want to include as much protein as possible without forcing you to overfill the tamales and potentially ruin them. So that's why I say I recommend that you put the extra TVP on the top of them as a topping so that you still have your protein, but you aren't creating really messy tamales that are spilling and tearing everywhere. And it honestly does add to it. It was a really nice break from the texture of the masa to have some of that topping. And I also included salsa and some protein, and also some of that potato carrot nacho cheese and some sliced jalapenos, and they were so good. Don't believe me? Here is the testimonial of a non-vegan.
Is this your queso? Did you make that?
I did.
Wow.
Authentic.
Is that a good accent? Queso? Yeah. Is that good? Is it el queso or la queso? I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting vegan tamales to be that good.
Yeah? What do you expect them to taste like?
I thought they were going to be dry. Those are not dry. Those are the opposite.
Moisture than an oyster. Non-vegan boyfriend approved?
Also Mexican approved.
It's what?
Mexican approved.
Yeah? So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will consider making these tamales for yourself. If you do, then please let me know. Tag me on social media if you post pictures of the tamales that you made. I'd really love to see them. And also let me know what you would like to see in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. Bye!